I've got a beautiful paper poppy kit right here, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to put one together, to assemble a beautiful poppy just like this. It's been a great idea for a fun girls' night. I mean, just picture it, laughing, chatting, and doing something keeping your fingers busy, an easy pre-made kit. So grab your favorite drink and let's assemble a beautiful poppy. Okay, so I've laid the kit out in front of us, and I want to show you each part. Now, you can use any kind of paper. You know I like to make my own paper, but we're just nothing too thick because cardstock would not work for this. So first, you're going to get a thin piece of yellow tissue paper and cut it into strips, just like that, about 1/4 of an inch, and twist it. So this is going to be part of the poppy center that everyone's going to need, and I'd like to give everyone at least 6 of them. So that's easy to pre-prepare. So then the crepe paper fringe, use a neutral color and then use a magic marker on the ends to color the tip. And on the bottom end, I fringe it so it's not too bulky when I go to tape it up. Now this is a piece of paper towel twisted up. It's probably almost a 1/2 inch thick. I just cut into a strip. And every kit that you make is going to need one of those. Next is the actual petal paper, and you'll need 4 pieces. And I'd say they're about 4 inches by 3 inches. And cut out a pattern so everyone has a pattern. And these pieces go below, I think it's called the seed bowl. And it goes just below the flower bulb, but it kind of hides all the things you don't want people to see. And then you'll need 3 leaves for each flower. So it's really not that many parts to prepare for each kit. So now let's take a minute and put it together. So first you're going to gather up those little yellow strips that you twisted, and you are going to attach them to an 18 gauge wire, which also needs to be in each kit if I didn't mention that earlier. Oops. So you're really just going to put them on there and tape that together. And if you're having a girls' night, I would do this, because if you're not experienced at flower making, taping is one of the hardest things to do. So the less taping your guests have to do, the better, because we want them to feel successful. So you're just going to tape it right at the top of the 18 gauge wire. So the next thing we're going to do is add some tacky glue, and that piece of paper towel that you wound into like a rope, you're going to start to wind it around the top of the wire and keep going from the top, then twist and come down and twist, and you'll eventually start to see it makes like a ball. So you're actually making the center bud of the flower. When you get to the end, just secure it with a little more tacky glue. Now grab a piece of floral tape, and we're going to tape over the paper towel. Using the same technique, go up and twist and go down and twist. Twist. Go up and twist. And when you have it fully covered, you can just wind it down the stem. Now you're going to cover that green floral tape with some tacky glue. Cover it good. And you're going to start to bend those yellow pieces of twisted tissue paper down and get them to stick onto the green floral tape. You just have to get it to stick enough so that you can secure it with the floral tape, and put the tape about halfway down your little center. So I think at the least, if you're having a girls' night, I would have this prepared in each kit. Now you're going to add the fringe just below that bud that you created. Just make sure you push all the fringe up so it doesn't get caught, and then you'll tape that off with the floral tape. Again, the fringe might be something you want to have done prior to your guests coming, and then they don't have to worry about taping anything and can just have fun with the next step, which is cutting the petals. Now we're just going to easily cut our pattern out for all 4 sheets. And it's totally okay to use paper clips rather than craft clips. You don't always have to be fancy if you have a girls' night. So once you have your petals cut out, remember how you used to make a fan when you were a little kid and you just fold a piece of paper back and forth and back and forth? You almost want to do that with each petal. Then you're going to twist it up, scrunch it up, do everything you can but rip it. Then unfold it, wet it a little bit with a mister. Now let's roll it out with our fondant tool. And you know I'm doing this on a rubber mat, which has a piece of styrofoam underneath, so it gives it a little bit of cushion. So now I'm taking one of the smaller fondant tools and just doing the very edge so that the tip of the petal will kind of fold the opposite way. And now you're going to gather the center. So now I want it to just have a little bit of fold on the outside. And the paper will work with you. Once you moisten it, you can sculpt paper when it's damp. You never have to rip paper, you just wet it and it'll do whatever you want it to. So now that your 4 petals are complete, you can cut out the leaves that'll go right underneath the petals. So once the 4 of those are cut out, it's time to start gluing. And I'm just using a little bit of hot glue along the edge of the petal and then putting it right at the base of that beautiful center we created, and it goes about halfway around the stem. And once that's secure, then you can add the second petal. You don't want it exactly opposite, slightly off center. So again, you're just going to add hot glue along that nicely folded edge you made. And then put it right across, but slightly off, so it overlaps. Now the 3rd and 4th petal, we're going to cover up the crack, cover the crack. So where the other 2 intersected, we're going to put right in the middle of this petal. And then the last petal will just go on the opposite side. I like to hold the middle down with my thumb and then grab the 2 sides. And just squeeze tight till you're sure the glue has got a good grip. So now we want to cover up where we just glued those petals on, and that's where our little green leaves come into play. So just to give them a little curl, you can grab your mister, just go around the edges. They'll decide how they want to shape. They kind of do it themselves. So once you've curled them all, you're just going to put them up against the base of the flower. I put hot glue, it's almost halfway up. And then twist that against the stem. And if it feels like your paper's going to rip, give it a spray of mist. So you're going to slightly overlap it and then squeeze your fingers around the stem, around the wire. So I think I only needed 3. So now you're going to tape just below those leaves. And if it's a girls' night, I think this is another part that you can just kind of do the taping for everyone. But taping is the hardest part to paper flower making. I think it really is. But once you get the feel for it. So I kind of like to have the leaves pre-made for everyone. And if they want to curl them. That's kind of fun with the fondant tool, but it just seems easier to cut them and already have them taped so that it's not an issue if it's a girls' night. And even if you're just making this for a kit to have accessible, it's much easier if all this work is done already and you can just quickly make a beautiful flower when you're in the mood to. Even if the leaves are looking a little beat up after being in the kit bag, running the fondant tool over them kind of gives them a new life. So even if you end up taping all the leaves onto everyone's flower, I think it would still be a really nice girls' night. They're involved in making the actual bloom. You just finish off the flower for them. And you could even have single bud vases by each kit so that they have something to bring home. It would be really sweet girls' night. Having these kits can be a real game changer. It's also an easy way to share the art of paper flowers with your friends. Remember, our mission at Joy Blooms is to spread joy and ignite creativity, and I think these paper flower kits do just that. If you love this idea, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so you see all of our tutorials, and don't forget to hit that notification so that you get alerted every time a new tutorial is released. I'd also love to hear in the comments below, what flower would you like to see in a kit? Thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to keep blooming.